Hey everyone, Mark the Movie Man here. Welcome to the Final Cut, and I got one for you today that is a little bit different. It's an independent, okay, that's not really different for the show, but an independent post-apocalyptic horror film called Ravage Nation, brought to us by Michael Mutsatzos, and I hope I pronounced that right, and if not, I greatly apologize. But Michael gives us a story of a world where the COVID virus has mutated so much it has become resistant to any and all attempts for a vaccine, to the point where it's starting to mutate genetics, DNA of humans. Yes, that's right. People are starting to give birth to mutant humans or outright zombies. And if you get scratched by these infected folks, you turn into a zombie or mutant creature within 12 seconds. These creatures have grown up over the years, and they are on the hunt for those who aren't infected so that they can commit acts of violence against them or just have them for dinner. And we follow a group of characters who are set in this world trying to survive and not become victims of these mutants. Ravage Nation's an interesting film. I loved the concept and the idea. Very topical, and as you can imagine, COVID has now influenced many an indie horror writer, and it's prevalent here. They cover a number of subject matter, and they're kind of making a statement, but at the same time, I think they're just using the situation to present some horrific events, which they do. It's kind of plays out not quite like an anthology, but in acts for sure, to where we get introduced to these characters and we see how they kind of cross paths after a while as they're trying to avoid being victims and survive. So, I liked that approach quite a bit. It keeps things fresh and interesting. You're not always stuck with one scene. You can tell it was shot on a small budget. Most of it takes place in a park or a couple other locations, but they make the most of it. And they keep things visually interesting, especially by putting it in black and white. So giving it that surreal feel, that otherworldly feel. And I like that. I thought that helped keep the tone quite a bit. Now, the mutant makeup that they have in here, some of the creatures that they come up with look more than just masks. Some of them look a little just like elaborate Halloween masks, while others look a little bit more than that. So they put some effort into the practical effects and makeup effects in this film. Now, where it really hinges on, there's one particular character who steals the show, and we follow him quite a bit. It's Dean, played by Jake Scozzaro, who just makes the most of this. Think of him as the character from Split, right? Only caught in a post-apocalyptic world. And I enjoyed this performance, the different voices and the characters that he did, trying to keep that separation so you knew who he was at any one point, as he does have multiple personalities. So I thought his performance was top notch, and this really showcases it. He gets a couple of longer extended scenes, a couple, maybe a little too long, but still to where he's dropping monologue and switching personalities, and I thought that was done really well. John Taylor is played by Phil Herman. I thought he did well in here too. He interacts with Dean, and they play off each other well. The director even shows up in here as a character. It was a little tough at times to tell who was who in certain spots, with the way the coloring was and the way the individuals kind of look similar. But I did enjoy how these characters interact with one another. And then we get this kind of twist, things really take a turn that I didn't expect. It almost felt like they maybe ran out of budget, so they had to speed things up a bit, because at the very end of this film, like in the last 10 minutes of it, the plot really takes a turn, and it just suddenly Dean's doing things that weren't quite set up before, and while they explain it, it's just like, well, that's kind of out of nowhere. And then, and then it just snowballs from there. And while I thought the concepts that they came up with in the last 10 minutes were interesting, I would have liked to see them flesh out more. So I don't know if it was a matter of that they had to work with just what they were able to shoot or what, but the end of this felt like it was just rushed, and there was some stuff left out on the field, so to speak. But still, Ravage Nation, I think, is definitely something. If you like your indie post-apocalyptic film, looking for something just got a bit of quirkiness to it, you'll like watching this, especially if nothing else for the character of Dean, who I really found to be the highlight of the whole thing. And that'll about do it for us here. Thank you for watching our review of Ravage Nation. Please check out our Patreon, like and subscribe here so you don't miss all the reviews that we got still coming. I thank you for your support. Until next time, remember, keep that ticket stub.